You are listening to Bedtime Dreamy Tales. Share and subscribe our channel. Story title: The Good Little Mouse, Part 2. Fairy Morgana transformed back into a mouse to follow the basket, but found it empty upon reaching the ground. Realizing her enemy, the wicked Fairy Cancaline, had stolen the baby, she rushed back to the Queen with the dreadful news. King Malvagio, enraged by the princess's disappearance, dragged Queen Seraphina to a desolate forest and abandoned her. But Fairy Morgana, using her magic, transported the Queen to a magnificent castle, where she cared for her while they searched for Delicia. Years passed, and the Queen, though still sorrowful, lived in comfort and safety. News reached them that the Prince of the Land of Tears wished to marry a Turkey-Maiden who had refused him. Intrigued, the fairy went to see the maiden. The fairy found the Turkey-Maiden, a beautiful young girl named Delicia, sitting in the poultry yard, surrounded by splendid robes and jewels that the prince had given her in a futile attempt to win her love. Delicia refused his advances, preferring the company of her turkeys. The fairy, taking the form of an old peasant woman, spoke with Delicia and learned her story. She recognized her as the lost princess and revealed her true identity to Delicia, promising to reunite her with her mother and ensure her happiness. Delicia, adorned in the fairy's gifts, looked every bit the princess she was. The fairy brought her back to the Queen, who was overjoyed to be reunited with her daughter. The wicked prince, furious at Delicia's rejection, complained to his father. King Malvagio ordered Delicia to be brought before him. Despite her beauty and grace, he mocked and threatened her, demanding she marry his son or face dire consequences. Delicia, terrified, asked for time to consider. The king imprisoned her in a dark dungeon. That night, Fairy Morgana, in the form of a mouse, tormented the king and the prince, driving them to madness. They fled the palace, only to fall into the river and disappear forever. With the tyrants gone, the fairy and the queen freed Delicia from the dungeon. They dressed her in royal attire and presented her to the people, who eagerly accepted her as their queen. Fairy Morgana traveled the world to find the kindest and handsomest prince for Delicia, and soon she brought back Prince Florin, who fell in love with Delicia at first sight. Delicia and Prince Florin were married in a grand ceremony, and their reign brought joy and prosperity to the kingdom. Queen Seraphina, finally at peace, lived happily with her daughter and son-in-law. Fairy Morgana, having secured her friend's happiness, visited often, delighting in the joy she had helped create. The joyous land and the land of tears merged into a single kingdom where happiness reigned, and the memory of the good little mouse lived on as a symbol of kindness, courage, and true friendship. And they all lived happily ever after. If you like this story, please give this video a like. For more stories, go to bedtimedreamytales.com. See you in the next story.